came across a drifting ship. I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship. And all you gotta do is join our trip. There isn't any cost of membership. All the sailors here are really hip. I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard our trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship.
On the Luska. There she is. There she is. I mean, so better get his act together. Yep, just in time to knock down those waves. How's everybody doing out there? Hello, my friends. It's your brother Zoe coming to you once again from my... at least it's not sweltering today, the corner of my dirty little garage from an undisclosed location on Pioneer Road in Medford, Oregon. How you doing? How's everybody doing out there? Oh, it's a good day for a grog. Good day for a grog. I'm happy to be here, folks. It's been actually a week since my last, regular mystery ship broadcast. It was a week ago tonight I announced that I was going in for surgery, and I wouldn't be able to broadcast Wednesday, Friday, or... Anyway, I held true to that. I did eventually broadcast yesterday afternoon, and it felt good to get my feet wet once again with the classic rock show that I host each and every Saturday. It was a blast. Had a great time. A lot of memories. Talked about a bunch of old stuff. We had some rock and roll deaths this past weekend. This past week, we lost Sly Stone from Sly and the Family Stone. I shared some Sly Stone stories, and also Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys fame. Just an extraordinarily talented man, an amazing musician. Really quite the fellow. All right, let's get a look around the 5 channels that I'm happy to say. Look at this. I am back over at the tube. We don't know how long it'll last. I have to keep my nose very clean over there. I now have one official strike against me because I made the mistake of playing some Twilight Zone episodes that I purchased. I figured after 60, 70 years, they were public domain since I bought the whole set and I own them, and I'm playing stuff that I own, but I guess they really technically belong to somebody else. So I got my hand slapped on that, and I got to keep my nose clean until September, and they'll remove that strike. All right, we are live now at Build Foxhole. Look at this. And we're getting a raid from our good friends Cosmac and the boys, Bruce, Norm, the Hawk. Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for bringing everyone aboard. Good to see y'all. Hope you're all doing well. And very interesting Three Beer Men show. Man, that Bruce, he gets around, doesn't he? That boy gets around. I wish that I could just do that. And maybe one day. Maybe one day, if I ever get to, like, semi-retire, I will just broadcast each and every night from the road and just travel America. And, try to convince Mrs. Zoe to get on the back, and we'll tell stories and visit people and hang out with a different person every night. Perhaps one day. Perhaps one day. All right, so we are live at Pilled Foxhole. We are live over here. Yep, we got 8 rumblers rumbling. Thank you, rumblers. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Good to have you aboard. YouTubers, great to have you there as well. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful to see your smiling faces once again. It's been a week. It has been a week. And let's check out our Twitch family. Yes, we are definitely twitching that itch. Beautiful giant screen over there. Perfect. I don't know why it does this to me. I really don't know why it does that to me. It makes me log in. It makes me log in each and every freaking time. I don't understand. I don't understand. Here it is. Okay. Give me the code. I'll log it in. For crying out loud. For crying out loud. Here it is. Don't share this code with anybody. Okay. I'm now live at Twitch. Yes. There's the channel. There's the beautiful picture. There are people hanging out there. I love it. And last but not least, our wonderful friends, the home of the champions. Yes, I'm talking about none other than the beautiful people known as the Champions over there. Yep. The D-Livers wearing that crown ever so proudly. They're still celebrating over there. They're still celebrating their win. Once a month, we have a trivia challenge between the 5 platforms here. And by God, they took it home. They took it home again. Well done. Well done, D-Livers. Well done. Let's say our hellos. Val Kimber, good to see you. Val, are you going live tonight right after me? Is that the story? Are you back? Are you back, my good man? Anyway, good to see you, my friend. Spudley in the house. Spudley, I got some stuff that's right up your alley tonight. All right. For those of you who have not experienced the Val Kimber music show, he is live on D-Live and a host of other channels immediately following the Mystery Ship. Immediately following the Mystery Ship live tonight. Go and check him out. Val, V-A-L _ Kimber, K-I-M-B-E-R, just like it sounds, all the way from Alabama, Sweet Home, Alabama. Check him out right after the Mystery Ship. Tell him Zoe sent you. Tell him Zoe sent you. The crown grows heavy, says Spudley. Good to see you boys and girls over there. Syllabor, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Syllabor was the winner on Quite Frankly the other night. I can't remember what you won, but it was something good. It was something good. Peggy Dancer, how are you doing, little lady? Great to see you. Jayla17, what's up, sister? Lives in a beautiful part of New York. Got to meet Jay and her hubby. Had a great afternoon. Beautiful, beautiful part of the country. It's amazing when you talk about New York. You just say the word New York, and people just think subways and concrete, and Manhattan, and it's upstate New York is just the whole western part is so amazing, so breathtakingly beautiful. Ah, yes, Zoot. How you doing, bad Zoot? Yes, I got my spanky whooped. I did indeed. Willie Fixie. Willie Fix-It in the house. Willie Fixie? Bet he won't. Bet he won't. Great to have all of you sailors hanging over there. Artist61, Kate, how are you doing? Kate has been wonderful from literally the moment my surgeon set down his scalpel. Steph was right there. I'm sending healing. I'm sending Reiki healing to you. It's like she homed in on the fact that I was literally fresh from surgery. I got my shoulder done, people. I normally have this giant freaking black brace, which I sleep in. But for broadcasting purposes, I choose not to wear it. It is bulky and huge, and this chair has arms in it, so I would never be able to sit comfortably in this chair. But we got a nice little set of, that thing starts right here and goes down to right there. It's a 6-7 inch little scar where they went in and put a whole new ball and socket in my shoulder. I will say, I gotta say, people, it's feeling, I mean, is it tender? Of course it's tender. They just did some freaking serious ass surgery on my ass. But it feels pretty good overall. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, let's say hello to the beautiful people hanging out over at Pilled Foxhole, the home of free speech in America, folks. It's a great place to set up an account. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Go to pilled.net, PILLED.net, and set up an account. It's one of the last places on earth where you can literally speak your mind and no one will ever stomp on your words or pull your content down or anything like that. The boys have devised a way to, they've guaranteed us free speech over there. God bless the Mats. Thank you guys for everything you do over there. Artist61 is hanging out over there, as is my brother Crazy Chuck with a K. Always good to see you, man. Oh, Artist dropped a cookie, said, hope you're healing well. Thank you, darling. Thank you kindly. We got Cupuncturist with a Spazza Yeti in the house. Big Gill, 1776. Cosmac, my dear brother from Foxhole Squares, great to see you. We will be returning. Foxhole Squares will return next Saturday night. One of our main players, Enoch, had his Magapalooza this weekend, so we were unable to stomp all over that. So we'll be back next Saturday night with some great people. Timberjet in the house. EWB Ghost Pepper. What is going on, Father Larry? Good to see you, my man. Happy Days 66 is with us. 3 Beer Men. I know those boys. I know those boys really well. Last Mimsy in the house. Good to see you. Willie Fix-It. 2-timing us. 3-timing us. Fantastic. Over in Rumble Land, there are 7 of you over there. Whoever you are, I have no idea who you are, but I'm very happy to make your acquaintance over there. Thanks for hanging out with me over on Rumble. And last but not least, our dear friends hanging out at YouTube. There are a number of them. There's only a few actually speaking, but that's fine. John Otter, good to see you, my brother. And, of course, my dear sister Rita, better known as R. Charlie. She says, happy Zoso is back on. Yes, we're back, people. I have to keep my nose clean. I'm going to have to keep my nose clean. I don't know if I can do that or not, but we're going to try. We're going to try the very best that we can. Do I have a video for you? I think I do. I think I have a video for you. Let's see. I do. Yes, I do. So every now and then I like to keep you guys apprised of what's going on in my life around the house. And this is a little something I shot in the middle of my show. Right in the middle of my show yesterday, I decided to just shoot some video. It was such a beautiful day yesterday. Let's share a minute of Zoso's life with you right now. Why not? Why not? Are you ready for this? I hope I'm ready for it. All right, let's get a gander. Let's get a gander. Here we go. So right now you guys are listening to Hold Your Head Up. And I ran outside to take a quick leak because I'm only human. And I come outside my little garage here. And that deer right there was sitting right here. Literally right here. And scared the fucking shit out of me. In fact, we scared the shit out of each other. We scared the shit out of each other. But I know why he hangs out here. All of them do. My sister and green, so that all of the flora and fauna hang out here. We've got, anything can grow here. And, while the rest of the world turns brown, it's just me and the butterflies. Me and the butterflies. This is Southern Oregon, people. I better get back and play the next song. Well, that's disappointing. The whole video didn't upload. It didn't upload the way it was supposed to. That's really strange. I just sat here and edited a bunch of stuff, and it didn't. There were 2 more pieces to that video, and it didn't upload. What the hell? I mean, what the hell? I'll be danged. All right, well, let's forget about that. I shot some more video from around my house, just showing you how my shop is progressing and how we removed a big giant tree in front of our house that had been there forever. You know how you get just so used to your property the way it is, and then one day you come home from work and you look up and this giant tree is gone. And I mean, yes, it's replaced by a beautiful view, and all the wood is stacked up for firewood next winter, but it's just so different, so vastly different than what you remember, man. And that leads us into tonight's program. Things that are vastly different from the way that we remember them. Folks, we're going to be dipping into Zoe's younger years and your younger years. I love reminiscing. Not so much. I'm not stuck in the past, okay? But I like looking back at things fond memories from days gone by. And man, I got a beauty for you tonight. I really do. It ties into so many different parts of my life that I'm pleased to share it with you. I'm actually rather excited about tonight's episode. Before we get to tonight's episode, I, of course, do what I always do, which is give you guys just a minute. Just a minute. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. There we go. I always like to give you guys a minute just to, catch up. Go get yourself a grog. Go take a leak, because once we launch into this tonight, man, you're not going to want to miss it. You're not going to want to miss what I've got set up for you. Why am I not on camera right now? There we go. Okay. All right. It was Father's Day today. I had a lovely time hanging out with my daughter and my grandson. I hope you guys did something similar, all you fathers out there. It was a very, very nice day. Is that it? Is that the picture of us? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This I can share. Let's get this on the screen. Boom. Boom. So, my daughter, Ashley, and my grandson, Caden, and I, that is the 3 of us out for a Father's Day brunch. It's lovely. That kid is so big. At 13 years old, he is about to overtake me. He's about to grow bigger than me. So his dad is 6'5". This kid's going to be, I hope that he settles down. I hope he doesn't get any bigger than 6'6", really. Because, it's cool to be tall and everything. Being tall, ass butt. It's great to be tall. I mean, you can find the best seats in town way before anybody else can. Let's go over there. But this kid is a monster. I mean, he's a freaking monster. And he's such a good kid. Such a good kid. Anyway, that was my Father's Day. I did receive a call. While we were seated at the restaurant having brunch, I got a call from my other daughter. And that was wonderful. I want to wish all of the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. I hope your day was special. Hope you heard from little children's. They reminded you how much they appreciate and love you for being the influence on their lives that you have been. Being a father was seriously one of the greatest things that ever happened. Probably the single greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life, and it's something that I take a lot of pride in. I can't say that I was the world's greatest father, but there are certainly worse ones than me, and I tried. All I can say is I tried with everything I had to be a decent father to those kids as they were growing up. I wish the best to all you fathers out there. Hope you're having a lovely Father's Day. And for those of you who haven't become fathers yet, there's still 5.5, 6 hours. Get out there tonight and go try to become a father. Give it your best shot. Best of luck with that. Best of luck with that. All right. We'll see you on the other side of this video, my friends. I have the volume on. I do have the volume on. Yes. We'll see you on the other side of this one, my friends. Be right back. Be right back after this. After this.
My fellow citizens, our country is in danger, but not to be despaired of. On you depend the fortunes of America. We, the Americans of today, are ready to act worthy of ourselves, ready to do what must be done to ensure happiness and liberty for ourselves, our children, and our children's children. We are a nation under God, and I believe God intended for us to be free. The crisis we're facing today, it does require, however, our best effort and our willingness to believe in ourselves and to believe in our capacity to perform great deeds, to believe that together, with God's help, we can and will resolve the problems which now confront us. And after all, why shouldn't we believe that? We are Americans.
We are Americans, baby. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. That's about enough of that. That's about enough of that. Let's get back to real life here. Real life. I do like to thank all the people who come and hang out here with me. It makes it so much fun to look out at the different platforms. Pilled, Foxhole, D-Live, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, all you guys. You're all dear friends of mine, and it means the world to look up and see your smiling faces on a Sunday night, hanging out with your brother Zoe. I'm going to enjoy this show more than anything you can imagine. I want to say a quick hello to my friend Honey, a dear patriot friend of mine. I met several years back, 3 or 4 years back, 5 years maybe. Wow, time is flying. At a patriot rally out in Grants Pass, Oregon. Back in the good old days when people drove around with flags on their cars and honked and got everybody's attention. We had like a mile long thing. We rode down the freeway, went through the different little towns. I think we drove from Medford all the way to Grants Pass, did the big loop, and then all hung out at a park afterwards. And we've been friends ever since. Good to see you guys. Hope you're doing wonderfully. All right. There's my friends over at Pilled. Great gang over there. A great gang over there. Blonde PLQ. How you doing, little lady? Good to see you. Rolo's mom. So, folks, I love Kevin's Chaotic Coffee. What is going down, my man? Kev, good to see you. Good to see you. You know, folks, when I was a kid, I've shared this a number of times, but I have to set this one up. I got to set this one up. When I was a kid, I was born in New Jersey in the late 1950s. In the late 1960s, 1969, in fact, July of 69, my family moved to Southern California. And it was a tremendous culture shock for me. It was vastly, vastly different than the world I knew back east. Little did I know, honestly, I was too young to understand what had just happened to me. Years later, of course, I'm like, wow, what a culture shock to go from, the mindset of people and just the way people live and go about their daily life back east versus out west, where it's kicked back, it's laid back, it's groovy, it's sunny, weather's beautiful all the time. There's no mosquitoes. There's nothing but beautiful, warm sunshine. I was very lucky. When I moved to California in 1969 to Los Angeles, it was a quarter of the size that it is now. I mean, you could literally jump in the car and drive from where I lived in the San Fernando Valley down to Disneyland in a place called Anaheim in about 35, 40 minutes. Today, that trip would take you about 3.5 hours because the traffic is so immense. Plus the fact that what used to be a 3-lane wide highway is now a 6-lane wide highway with, 2 upper lanes that you ride for if you're going extended distances. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how much that area grew in my lifetime. After 20 years, I left Los Angeles and I moved to Oregon in 1989. I said, I've had enough of this city living. You guys can have it. Take it. Keep it. I don't want it anymore. I'm a country bumpkin at heart, and that's where I remain to this day. Sandra, how you doing, darling? Good to see you. My dear brother Bruce, sending healing prayers. I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. Of course, I want to say, if it wasn't for my dear doctor and his script writing abilities, I might not be sitting here as easily as I'm sitting right now in front of you. But I feel okay. I'm doing all right. I'll be going to work tomorrow, so looking forward to that. But so as a kid, when I would come home from school in the 5th grade, I'm talking 1969 here now, right? Right after school, you come home, you grab a snack, turn on the TV, see what's on TV. There was this show, this old black and white TV show that I loved. I absolutely loved this show. It was at this point, the show was 10 years old and living in reruns, okay? I'm talking about a show starring Lloyd Bridges. The show was called Sea Hunt. Sea Hunt. If you guys remember the show Sea Hunt, I want you to put an X in the chat. Put an X in the chat if you remember Sea Hunt, because this was. I think I can play a couple seconds of this without getting slapped. I think I can play a couple of seconds of this without getting slapped, as long as I keep it down to a bare minimum. But here it is. Sea Hunt was centered around Lloyd Bridges. He was a frogman in World War II, and these were his adventures as a modern-day commercial diver years after the war. A great show. A great, great show. I was thoroughly enamored by this show. Just the whole... I always loved the water. I was a surfer. My mom would take us to the beach, and she could never get us out of the water. You know, boys, we gotta go. It's almost 5 o'clock. Your father's coming home. I gotta have dinner on the table. And man, she needed a crowbar to get us out of the freaking waves, because we loved the beach. Anyway, a couple of years after living in Los Angeles, my dad's rather large company made a preposterous business decision and moved the company. I'm talking a major international United States corporation, Borg Warner. It's who my dad worked for. And they moved the entire company to northern San Diego County, to a tiny little town called Temecula. Now, Temecula in 1972 was nothing but tumbleweeds. Tumbleweeds. I'm telling you. It was crazy. It wasn't even on the map, okay? There was nothing. Temecula had nothing to offer at the time. Nowadays, it's some of the most prime real estate in Southern California. It has one of the best school systems down there. But, you know, who was to know 50 years ago that my dad should have bought up every acre? He was joking. My dad was joking in the car, saying that the land down there was $1 an acre. $1 an acre. He goes, Alice, I should just buy 500 acres over here just for the house, just because I can. And he goes, but who wants tumbleweeds? Who wants tumbleweeds? I wish to God he had bought 500 acres, because we'd be gazillionaires today. Gazillionaires. $1 an acre. Can you imagine that crap? Temecula, $1 an acre. Crazy. Crazy. Anyway, we chose not to live in the tiny little burg of Temecula. It was, like I said, it was a nothing town, but about 6-7 miles away, nestled in the woods amongst the avocado trees, was a pleasant little town with one stoplight. One stoplight. It was called Fallbrook, California. So we moved to Fallbrook. We bought a little house and stayed there for a couple of years. And the high school that I went to was vastly different than the Los Angeles schools. First of all, this was my very first time ever in my life that I was going to a public school. I had never been to a public school. I had only gone to private schools my whole life. So this was that alone was a huge awakening for me. But in northern San Diego County in Fallbrook, the Fallbrook School, Fallbrook Union High School, had either they had tons of money. I don't understand. Maybe it was the perfect weather. I don't know. But we had, as part of our school, 2 gigantic swimming pools. One was your standard 8-lane swimming, like racing swimming pool. And the other was a giant pool with high dives and low dives. And we had water polo teams and swimming teams. And I can tell you that when I moved back to Los Angeles for the 11th and 12th grade, none of the schools that I went to, none of the schools had swimming pools. So I thought it was interesting and different. I will say, my English teacher was the captain. He was the coach of our water polo team, and we were badasses. We were undefeated. Coach Collins, a great guy, one of my favorite teachers ever growing up, Coach Collins. I didn't play on the water polo team, but I can tell you this. One day, I got to PE class, and they said, hey, anybody that's interested, in 3 weeks, we're going to be signing people up to take scuba diving classes. So you can get certified. It was fully sanctioned NAUI. You came away with a NAUI certification, and you became a real live scuba diver. I loved this idea. I immediately flashed back to watching the episodes of Sea Hunt that I loved so much, and I'm like, oh my God, hell yes. I ran home that night, and at the dinner table, I told my dad, Dad, they're going to be offering scuba at the school. It's a 6-week course, and, when you're all done, you're a scuba diver. Now, I'm talking, this is 1972, 1973, okay? They had just changed, literally just changed from the old regulators that came off of your tank. The regulator is the breathing pipe, okay? So in the old days, you took the pipe over the top of your head, and when you bit on it, you had hoses going in both directions, an innie and an outie. They had just made the switch to just a single line regulator. A single line, one line, and aluminum tanks were like the latest thing. The old steel tanks were 72 cubic feet. The new aluminum tanks, brand new, this was brand new technology, gave you an extra 8 cubic feet of breathing air. And they were, oh my God, a third of the weight. I mean, aluminum tanks were like, it was the shit. So I'm all excited about this. My dad thought it was pretty cool, so he said, "Sure, Albert, you go ahead. You sign up. I'll pay the extra $35. We'll get you certified as a scuba diver." And it was great. It was great. I mean, we practiced in the pools there at the school, buddy diving and going down and sharing your regulator with a buddy on the way up from the deep end. I mean, they taught us all the shit, and then it culminated with not one, but 2 weekends out in the Pacific Ocean. We took 2 dives for our final tests, and I came away a certified scuba diver. And wouldn't you know it, one day I'm at home shooting baskets at my house, and here comes a big, giant box truck into my driveway. I'm like, what the hell is this all about? Why would there be this big truck in my driveway? It's a shipping company, and guy rolls up, he opens up the back, and there's this giant wooden box. And he says, "Do you have a hand truck?" And I said, "Yeah, somewhere." So I go and I find the hand truck, and I take this great big wooden box off of the lift gate, and I bring it over into the garage. And I mean, so this box is every bit of like 3 foot tall, 4 feet wide, and about 5 feet long, and it's heavy as all get out. And I'm wondering what the hell is in this wooden box. So my dad comes home that night, He's all excited. My mom calls and says, Al, there's some trucking company. He goes, oh, don't open it. Don't open it till I get home. My dad gets home that night, and we open up this crate, and inside of it is scuba equipment. One of my dad's buddies one of my dad's business guys, a guy that he did business with, was a scuba diver. When he came out of the Navy, he outfitted himself, and I guess the guy, like everybody else, he got married, wife, 2 kids, car, the dog, the porch, the fence, all that stuff. And scuba diving just didn't fit into his life anymore. So he probably made my dad a swinging deal on this scuba outfit. But there were 2 tanks and regulators and all of that stuff. And my brother and I divvied all this stuff up. And next thing you know, I have scuba equipment. One of my close friends went out. He bought one of those brand new aluminum tanks. But, hey, I was tickled pink. And my mom would take us on the weekends. We'd go into, where did we go? Oceanside, California. And Wes and I would go diving out in among the kelp, and just, it was 72, 73, 74, 75. I spent half of my weekends scuba diving. It was so much fun. It was to be down under the water in an area that is, previously taboo, right? I mean, even a good snorkel guy with fins and a mask, you can dive down 30 feet, 35 feet maybe if you're an excellent swimmer. But, even if you're a master at holding your breath inside of 2 minutes, you got to go back to the surface, man. And but with scuba, you're down there for 50 minutes, and it's like this whole world. You're in this world that was previously verboten. I loved it. And I wanted to go through my box of pictures. I've got boxes and boxes of pictures, and I'll find them. I will find them. I just didn't have time today to dig up my scuba diving pictures. But, man, it was amazing. It was an amazing thing for me to go diving. And I can't tell you. Sometimes we would dive right off the docks. Sometimes we would go in the ocean. A couple of times we dove at this marina, and people would say to us, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you dive underneath my boat? I want you to look at my I don't know, people." They paid us money. They paid us money to go down and fix stuff on the bottoms of their boats. Remove barnacles and shit. And Wes and I, my diving buddy, we thought this is the greatest thing that ever happened to us. I really loved it. I really, really loved it. It was a lot of fun. In fact, this is one of those things. To this day, I often wonder what happened. What happened to my scuba equipment? Because I don't remember. It's one of those gray areas in my life. I do remember this. After 2 years of living in San Diego, my dad's company. My dad was the international sales director for Borg Warner. His entire life, he had a suitcase under one arm and his briefcase under the other, and he flew all over the world, designing pumps and designing systems for huge companies. I mean, my dad worked all over the Alaska pipeline. He worked in Saudi Arabia. He worked in Japan. He worked all over the world, South America, anywhere there were refineries. My dad worked on nuclear submarines, things like that. My dad's company, Borg Warner, he was in the business of seals, mechanical seals. So anytime there's a potential for a leak, either a leak coming in, let's say on the propeller of a nuclear submarine, or at a refinery where you're pumping all different types of fluids, where you can't afford to have leaks of flammable materials. My dad designed ways to stop things from leaking. That's why he worked all over the world. Well, because all he did was travel, it didn't make sense to have their head guy, their international sales director, driving 2 hours either up to LA to grab a plane or down to San Diego to grab an airplane when the guy spent 2 to 3 weeks a month on the road. That was his life. So finally they said, yeah, you know what? We may have made a mistake. Al, take your family, move back to Los Angeles. You need to be close to an airport so you can do your thing. So in 1975, we moved back to Los Angeles and bought a beautiful house with a giant pool. And I remember that my dad used to have me fill my scuba tanks so that he would put my tanks on and the regulator and my mask and my fins. He would go down and clean the algae off the bottom of the pool. He had a little brush and he had a little stone, and rather than do it from up above, my dad would just scuba dive all day in 12 feet of water and clean the algae the good old American boy kind of way with a scuba tank. And every so often hey, Al, will you take the tanks down and get them filled up again? Because, you had to be, you couldn't just take your tanks down and fill them. You had to have a scuba card to fill your tanks. It was great. I eventually got into spearfishing and underwater photography. One of the coolest things ever was one Christmas when I opened up this strange box, and inside of it was a waterproof camera. Now we're talking 1970s technology, okay? It wasn't a Canon or a Nikon. It was a Kodak Instamatic, but it was in a waterproof case and it had a flash and all that. And I used to take it out and I would shoot my my surfing buddies, and I did diving underwater. I did a lot of underwater photography. It was really fascinating to me. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. But, as your interests change, I became a guitar player, and playing in a band was everything to me. Scuba diving kind of fell by the wayside. Now I'm going to back up a little bit, because when we first moved to California in 1969, we moved to a place called the San Fernando Valley. Now, back in the day, the San Fernando Valley was mostly orange groves, and they called it the Blonde Ghetto, okay? They called the San Fernando Valley the Blonde Ghetto, all right? We didn't have tons of Mexican restaurants or anything like that. It was, what can I say? It was 1969. So you get there, and one of the very first things they do, oh my goodness, my mom's name was Alice, and all of her local California friends, you're going to have to take the boys down to Disneyland. So, of course, we did all of the, there was Disneyland, there was Knott's Berry Farm, there was all of the local things to take in, Universal Studios, and all of the sightseeing tours of Southern California, from Hollywood Boulevard and Grauman's Chinese Theater and the Hollywood Wax Museum and all that kind of stuff. When you're inundated with all that crap as a new Californian, you're kind of overwhelmed. But one of the coolest places that we went to was located right off the Palos Verdes Peninsula. This wasn't very far from my house, especially back in those days. It was maybe a 25-minute drive because there wasn't traffic back then. I'm going to share this with you because I did do a little homework and I brought up a few maps. I have the right one here. Yes, here we go. Here we go. One of the biggest things that you would ever want to take in as a kid was this place called Marineland. Yes, Marineland. So this is Los Angeles proper right here, okay? This is, downtown. But if you went directly south of downtown, take any of the main streets, Western Avenue, you reached the Palos Verdes Peninsula, and situated on this little bluff right here was a place called Marineland of the Pacific. And it was freaking cool. All right? See these tanks? And this oval tank and all of these other aquatic tanks. So back in the 1960s, you could go to Marineland, and it was cheap. It was like $2 to go in. And seriously, they had trained dolphins and porpoises. And, I mean, these dolphins would do, the usual backflips for you. They would make noises. They could count. They would play basketball. These dolphins could actually shoot baskets. It was pretty amazing. It was good, cheap entertainment for kids. And it was literally on the beach in arguably one of the nicest settings in all of Southern California. The Palos Verdes Peninsula, that was a nice neck of the woods back in 1969, 1970. I found an old map, and Spud is going to get it. He's going to get a laugh out of this. Yeah, look at this. Look at this right here. All right, this is a map of Los Angeles showing where Marineland was. Where are we go? Here we go, main monitor. Okay. All right. So this is the Palos Verdes Peninsula right down here, okay? Here is, this is where I lived. This is the San Fernando Valley. So you can see it was just a very short trip down the San Diego Freeway, and boom, you're there in 20 minutes. If that. Now, Spud and they lived kind of over in this area. Let's see. I don't even think, this is Anaheim right here. So this was very close to Anaheim. See all this undeveloped area that they referred to as the Cleveland National Forest? Okay. This is an undeveloped Los Angeles. Okay. Let me show you what it looks like. Where's the map I got now? Yeah. Look at it now. So this was all empty. And you can see now so Marineland was right here, okay? And basically civilization as we knew it stopped right about here. This was all that Cleveland National Forest, which is now, oh my goodness, it's now, and this map we're looking at here, this is 15 years old. It's amazing. It is literally amazing how that area grew up. And the strange thing for me is, as a kid living up here, this is where I lived in the San Fernando Valley, I worked for a sign company. And I remember making real estate signs for places like Orange and Lake Forest. I had never heard of these places. They were just beginning to sell the land in the mid 1970s. Yeah. Oh man, Chico Hills, Placentia. None of these towns existed. I mean, let's look back at this other map for a minute. Where is it? What did I do with that other map? Yeah. I mean, it all stopped right here. Now this is some prime property over here right now. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, Marineland, being on the tip of the Palos Verdes Peninsula, was some folks. That was some prime property. Marineland encompassed 480 acres right here. What I found interesting in doing a little digging was that how many people, I want you to put an X in the chat. I want you to put an X in the chat if you remember the TV show called Flipper. Do you remember Flipper? Put an X in the chat if you remember watching Flipper on television as a kid. They called him Flipper, Flipper, king of the sea. Flipper, okay? All right, I'm looking at the... Okay, G-Gab says, hell yeah, I remember Flipper. Let's see what they're... Oh, yeah, they remember it over here. And, oh, yeah. You're buffering? How can it be buffering? Braves Piano says, hope you're recovering from your surgery. Thank you, my dear. I am. I'm recovering nicely. That's weird. I guess we're having foxhole problems. There seems to be... Prairie Fire. Seriously. Those stickers. Oh, man. Spud says that his great-grandfather's uncle was the first constable of Orange County in the 1890s. Man, I bet they were, yeah, there was nothing. They're saying Pilled is a mess tonight. That's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that. So, Flipper. Let's get back to Flipper. Flipper was produced by a gentleman by the name of Ivan Tors. Ivan Tors. An unusual name. Ivan Tors specialized in TV shows about animals, but particularly anything with an aquatic nature, anything that had water in it. Ivan Tors was probably the Hollywood producer selected to spearhead any project that dealt with water-themed television shows. And Ivan Tors was responsible for things like, anybody remember Gentle Ben? You know, with Opie's younger brother, and his dad was in the Florida Glades and rode one of those air hydroplane boats with, it was water themed in the Everglades. Ivan Tors was part of that. He's, of course, part of Flipper. There was a great show in the 1960s, some of you may remember, called Doctari. Doctari with the monkey. Does anybody remember that show, Doctari? They had the Jeeps that were painted like zebras and stuff. So, like I said, any kind of animal, and particularly water-based television shows, Ivan Tors probably had his fingers in it. Well, wouldn't you know it, Ivan Tors was part of putting Sea Hunt together. In fact, Sea Hunt, which aired from 1958 until 1961, Sea Hunt was, of course, produced by Ivan Tors, long before Flipper was even a thought, okay? He was part of this. Now, Lloyd Bridges, the lead actor, was I was kind of amazed and a little disappointed doing my research on this because Lloyd Bridges, when you look at the guy in the Sea Hunt series, he's about 45 years old. He is in remarkable shape for a 45-year-old man. Full head of hair, good-looking bastard. Definitely cut. He had guns. Sea Hunt, which aired on Saturday nights. What happened? It says streamer offline. What's going on here? Did something... What is going on? Did I get shut down on... Okay, we're live. That's so weird. That's so weird. That's so weird. My D Live came on and said stream had ended. Val Kimber, Peggy Dancer, you are on the money. You're on the money, honey. It's right where I'm going. It's right. You must be reading my notes. So between Sea Hunt and Jacques Cousteau, ABC cornered the market with Jacques Cousteau. And Cousteau was diving all of these incredible shipwrecks and taking us places that you would never imagine, and filming it and bringing up shots. Dumas, a famous diver named Dumas, dove the Andrea Doria. I was so into this stuff. I subscribed to Skin Diver magazine. And all of this was just all woven in together. The early 70s for me to the mid 70s. If it had something to do with water, I was all over it. I loved Jacques Cousteau. I loved Sea Hunt. I loved surfing. I loved scuba diving. All of that was, for this Southern California boy, it was just great shit. It was really, really fun and entertaining. In doing a little digging on this show about Lloyd Bridges and shit, here I thought that maybe he really was in World War II a Navy frogman, because that's the way his character, Mike Nelson, was described in the TV show Sea Hunt. I was saddened to find out that He never spent a minute. He never spent a minute doing any kind of diving. He had to learn how to scuba dive in order to do the show Sea Hunt. But Sea Hunt, believe it or not, in its little 4-year run from 58 to 61, it was a #1 show. A black and white TV show about a scuba diver was a #1 show, even in cities like New York. 50% of the people tuned in on a Saturday night were watching Sea Hunt. It was that popular. And it really seems strange why the show got canceled. And do you know why it got canceled? This is crazy. It's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Sea Hunt got canceled because back then, a lot of television companies, production companies, they not only looked at how much money they were making when the show was airing, but they were also looking down the line, and they were saying to themselves, well, whatever we don't make up front here, we'll make it up in syndication. Like I told you, 10 years later when I was a kid coming home from school, I would, at 3:30 in the afternoon, I would turn on Sea Hunt and watch it on Channel 11 or Channel 9, whatever the hell it was. And they planned on making money in syndication. For some reason, Sea Hunt just didn't do that well in reruns. So they canceled it. It seems crazy. It seems crazy to me. But anyway, Sea Hunt went the way of all flesh after 4 years. But it didn't stop guys like me from watching it. And I was very excited to find out that you can watch every single episode of Sea Hunt on YouTube for free. Yep, they're all there. All 158 episodes are available on YouTube, and we're going to watch one episode right now just to show you what a cool and groovy show this really was. But here's the interesting thing. In the TV series, Mike Nelson was the name of the character played by Lloyd Bridges, right? He's supposedly an ex-Navy frogman who gets hired. He's hired by Marineland, okay? Marineland. Yes, Sea Hunt and Marineland were joined at the hip. They shot a lot of the silly little footage was shot in the big tanks there at Marineland so that they had fish swimming and kelp and all that in the background. But the real outdoor stuff was shot down in Florida. In fact, there were 2 locations where Sea Hunt was regularly. Most of all of the episodic filming was done in Florida. But when they had to come home for the little breaks, down to Marineland they went. They threw them in the tank with the TV cameras and shot, the tiny footage. The stuff you're going to see in this episode. There's an episode. I think I'm going to play this episode where this killer whale goes after them. It's pretty interesting. But Marineland and Sea Hunt were joined at the hip thanks to Ivan Tors, of course. Ivan Tors. It's weird. Everything seems to be interconnected in one way or another. This guy was scratching that guy's back, and that guy scratched this dude's. Everybody was helping each other to get a piece of the pie back then. Pretty amazing. Like I said, I was disappointed to find out that Lloyd Bridges wasn't really. I thought for sure maybe he was a U.S. Navy guy who, after the Navy, after World War II, he came home and came up with this brilliant idea for what if we did this show about a scuba diver. Not the case. Not the case at all. He was just an actor. Chosen to do Sea Hunt. So, a little disappointing news there. All right. Anyway, to refresh your memories, we're going to watch an episode of Sea Hunt because this is great stuff. This is great stuff. And I want to be off in time so that I'm not stepping on Val Kimber's toes tonight. So, all right. Now, those of you watching over on YouTube, I'm very sorry. I cannot play this show on YouTube. They will smack my pee-pee. So I'm going to give you a couple of options. Okay? I'm going to give you a couple of options. Here you go, YouTube. Gloria Paddock is joining us over there at YouTube. How wonderful to see you, Gloria. That is awesome. All right. Over at YouTube, I have just dropped a link. I've just dropped a link to Rumble, and I'm also going to drop a link to D-Live. All right. You guys can just click on one of these links. Click on one of these links and watch the rest of the show over there. But I have to shut this down. on YouTube in order to play an episode of Sea Hunt. Otherwise, yes, I'm going to get in trouble. Glowbug, I can't tell you how cool it is to look up and see your smiling face. Flipper was a given, she said. Voyage to the bottom of the sea. Oh, man. That was a huge one. All right. Okay, you YouTubers, I'm going to have to say goodbye to you right now. Click on one of those links. Go watch the rest of the show, either at Rumble or at D-Live, okay? They're not having any problems over there Go check out the rest of the show there. I'm going to have to turn you off, YouTube. I love you lots. We'll see you on the next one. As for the rest of you, hold tight for just a second. Hold tight for just a second while we say goodbye to YouTube. Night, night, YouTube. Night, night. Okay, remove. Goodbye, YouTube. See you on Wednesday.